Hi, and welcome to another episode in our little channel AT101. So, yep, there's different kinds of buildings out there, from residential to civic buildings to commercial and all the things. We're going to look at different types of them because I've been involved and been engaged in different types of work. By the way, I work for this other company called Architectonics in Botswana. Check out their website if you've got time. So today in particular, we're going to be looking at a house, residential architecture, how you can do stuff like that as an architectural technologist, or if you're a student, how you can start working on something like that from scratch. So let's take a simple basic example here. A friend of mine called Mtha, hence the idea house Mtha brief. It said he wanted a house, and say basically just told me just wanted 4 bedrooms, and it let me go free in what I can do with it. So this was the basic brief. So I had to take the idea of 4 bedrooms and looked at what he is. He's a doctor, and realized maybe we'll need a study and an office, and definitely they're going to need a lounge, dining, kitchen, pantry, scullery, and a storeroom. This is the one thing generally people tend to forget when designing houses. People always need storage because people always pile up things over the years and they fail where to find a place to put them. Sometimes they just put it in the garage, but it's always good to either put that storeroom in the garage or create a separate storage for someone to put their things they keep carrying over the years. And then there's definitely going to be a double port car garage, and then an outdoor courtyard, or at least an entertainment space. So started off with a very interesting little module, which was like a block, and then other blocks were going to come into that. One thing I knew for sure is I was going to be working with sort of modern contemporary architecture, working with that language. So I was going to be working with that, and hence the idea of simple horizontal, vertical lines cutting into that, then blown up to become blocks. So taking that, I was able to translate it into this, which was going to be all the entertainment spaces and activities are going to be centralized here, because you have the lounge and the dining spilling out to become the deck, which is a pool, which is going to be looking out into the rest of the space out there. And then the bedrooms are going to be sort of these isolated little tiny modules extruding from the main block. And then the 7 spaces are going to be at the edges. You have the garage, kitchen, study, and storage, but which in the real model ended up being sort of a common toilet for these 2. Then you had the master bed with its own private courtyard and an entry hall here, scullery, pantry. Generally, this was what's happening. And then the first idea, first elevation was going to be something like this, where these 3 blocks sort of dominate. It was, which would I use? Something simple, slick, and contemporary, fine lines, not clearly showing like an edge, just continuous, or very, very having defined edges by the roof. But what I ended up running with is something quite different. Let's take a bit of tracing. You want to be able to free when you sketch. What I ended up running with was this remained, right? But they were no longer as pronounced as I have them here. I like to use this. These are calligraphy pens. They're quite interesting because look at this. So what ended up happening was I ended up having a very bold and pronounced roof, and it was going to be having a lot of elements sort of extruding there, coming out of the main bold element, which I think is interesting. It's a further communication of what we have even on plan, where you have a main bold element and this sort of pulling out, up and away. So, and then this, we're going to have clear story windows, clear story windows, clear story windows, clear story windows. And then further glazing was going to come right below that and create very interesting proportions, because proportions are so important. You want to be able to create proportions that relate, because once you miss your proportions, the building becomes ugly or it becomes off. So there's going to be, I'm developing it from that and taking this into CAD. But this roof on the side elevation, what you're going to see, or in a section, if let's say we had cut a section A, what you're going to end up with was something along these lines. Clear story there, main base there, letting in light, human scale, this sort of solid mass, and this could act passively, you know, for air. Then you can even put solar panels there, because you want to be thinking of these things as a technologist way ahead of time. Then the house becomes self-sustaining. Then you can always harvest the water, find a way to harvest the water when it rains, things like that. Because you're already thinking about these things ahead of time, and because there's create very, very interesting details, very interesting technologies details, because you also end up having an opportunity to explore how a roof like that attaches to the wall. Do you have it playing like that? Do you have another member doing that?